Welcome to this series on Best of GMAT. I'm Sainath Katturipalli with a new question on speed, distance, and time. Before you start watching and answer the explanation to this question, I would recommend you to take a 2 minutes pause, work the question your own, and then resume back watching this video. Certainly this way it will add value to your learning. All right, coming to this question, it's given that Bob runs south along the river, turns around, returns to the parking lot, running north along the same path. And after running for 3.25 miles south, he then decides to run for only 50 more minutes. Bob runs at a constant rate of 8 minutes per mile and is asking how many miles further south can he run and still be able to return to the parking lot in 50 minutes. Now, normally when you work such questions, I would recommend you to take an information in a diagrammatic form. So if you put down the information in diagrammatic form, there won't be a need to repeatedly read the question. Okay, so let's say this is the point from which Bob starts running along the river south. Okay, and it's given that after he runs for 3.25 miles, let's say this is the distance he covered, 3.25 miles. And then he decides to run for only 50 more minutes. He is running at a rate of 8 minutes per mile. And the question is, how many miles further south can he really go and ensure that he returns along the same path to the parking lot in the span of 50 minutes, right? That's the question. So now with that, we have the time 50 minutes. And given that he runs at a rate of 8 minutes per mile, which means if you divide 50 minutes by 8, you understand how much more distance is he covering in that 50 minutes time. So 8 divides it in 6.2 pi. And this is the miles that he would be covering in that span of 50 minutes, which means from this juncture, he would be traveling all this way down south and then returns back to the parking lot. That is 6.25 miles. Now, before that, we already have this number, 3.25 miles, which he's covered before he takes a decision running for only 54 minutes. So which means the to and fro distance altogether is 9.5 miles. And when you divide this by 2, don't you think that covers half the distance, that is the distance that he travels down south. And you know, this 9 by 5.5 is 4.75, which is the entire stretch from parking lot to the maximum distance that he could travel, that is 4.75. And the return path is also 4.75, which adds towards 9.5, which is the entire to and fro distance. Now from this 4.75, if you subtract the 3.25, you'll get 1.5 miles, which is the distance that he would be running south after he takes a call to run for only 54 minutes. And in fact, that's the question he's asking. How many miles further south will he be running? So the further south, he'll be running 1.5 miles and then turns around and comes back to the parking lot in this 50 minutes time. So the answer to this question must be A. Hope you people followed working this question. If you seriously followed working this question, I would be giving you a similar question for practice. Try work this question and post your answer in the comment box. I'll be eagerly waiting to see your answers in the comment box.